Welcome, guys, and how's it going? This is Nick, your tech fanatic, once again. I know it's been a while, but I am back with a review that has actually been requested quite a bit. And we're going to do a quick unboxing and show you guys what it's all about. So, here is the device we're going to be looking at. The new LG G7 ThinQ. It's LG's latest flagship device. Whole lot that LG had to do to get this phone out to the public. They completely had to redo the design of this phone, rethink the software and everything, and even the CEO of LG said that this is why the LG G7 was released a little bit later than initially anticipated, but all in all, after using this phone for a few weeks, I can say that there's a lot of things that make this phone stand out, make this phone work a lot better than other devices in its league, but I can definitely say that there's a lot of things about this phone that are a step back or multiple steps back from the competition, and I'll go over some of that with you guys here today. So let's take a look at the box, let's see what's inside of it, and then we'll do a little bit of a hands-on with the device itself, and I'll go over some of the pros and cons that I found with my time with the LG G7 ThinQ. So, first things first, I have to say, as far as the unboxing experience goes, I was actually quite a bit underwhelmed. And the reason for that is because people that buy phones that cost hundreds of dollars, they want to be impressed. And the first place that the impression starts is when you open the box. And the one thing that really upset me was LG is really hammering down the audio file part of this phone. It comes with a quad DAC, which is supposed to really improve audio quality through high fidelity headphones. They also have the new boombox speaker, which we'll go over that feature here in a little bit. But what really surprised me was that this phone did not come with a nice pair of headphones in the box, which was really interesting. The reason I find this interesting is, again, LG really tried to hammer down on the audio quality of this device, not just through the headphone jack that this phone does include, but they also tried to up the boombox speaker. And so my question is, since LG has the LG Tone headphones, why not step up the game above the competition and include a premium pair of LG Tone Bluetooth headphones in the box with these guys? That would have been really, really cool, or even a wired pair of headphones, just to step up to the competition, such as Apple and even Samsung, that include really, really nice headphones in the box, especially Samsung, now that they've acquired Harman Kardon. So I just found that really interesting. But regardless, I'm going to stop babbling, and we are going to bust open this box and take a look at what's inside. So whenever you initially open up the box, Mr. Kitty here is going to help me. This is Bailey, my cat. So you get a nice LG cloth. They've been doing this for the past several generations of phone. You get a nice felt strip here that you can wipe your screen down with. And then on here you have kind of the big specs for the device. So you have a super bright display. This is one of LG's first displays that can get up to 1,000 nits, which is really, really big for outdoor use. I'm sorry. It's really big for outdoor use, and I can definitely vouch that the display does get very, very bright when you need it to. So that's really big, especially for the fact that this is an LCD display and not an AMOLED. But I do have to say this is one of the best LCDs I've ever seen on a device. It has AI built into the camera, so basically this is Google's assistant built into the camera of this device. And it's iffy. I can't honestly say that it's a big feature of this device quite yet, and I'll go over the reasons for that here in a second. Another big thing is the boombox speaker, which basically the entire back of this phone is more or less a hollow chamber. Hi there, Mr. Kitty. Is a hollow chamber that allows the sound to resonate from the speaker on the phone, and the results that you get from it are both good and bad, and again, I'll go over the reasons for that. And then the Google Assistant key. So basically, LG took the Bixby button route on their phone. It's literally in the same place on the device underneath the volume rocker. And what's really interesting is the button doesn't bother me as much on this phone as it did on the Samsung device, and I'll go over the reasons for that too. So let's get the sleeve off of, or actually let's pull the device out of here, and we'll go over some other stuff that's in here. So one big thing that LG's been pushing is the second-year warranty that comes with your device. You have to register the device on their website in order to get the best benefits. But LG has had some major software and hardware issues on their devices in the past, and so it's really good to have this assurance inside the box along with the phone. So that's really, really nice that they did that. I think it's a really big feature of this device that comes in the box, and I think it'll come in handy for a lot of people. All right, Bailey, come on. Quit messing around. Alrighty, next thing is you get your regular books and stuff inside of the box, all the quick start guides and all that good stuff. So file that to the side. And you have your quick charger here. Let's see what we've got here. Looks like a 9-volt and about a 2-amp, so not really the best charger ever either, and I'll talk about the charging speeds on this phone too. That was one big thing I noticed. And then all you get is a USB-C cable in here, and I really, really am upset that you don't get a nice pair of headphones in this box. It just kind of puzzles me. So but anyways, let me put all of this stuff in the side. Let me cat-proof this box real quick so Bailey doesn't run off with any of this stuff, because she is very curious, as you can see. So let's file this to the side. Let's pull the phone out here. Yep, you can help me out, Bailey. Alrighty. So first impression-wise, this device is quite pretty. It's a very good build. It's glass sandwiched between, I believe it's just an aluminum border, but it has a very good weight to it. It has a very premium feel, and I can actually liken it very much so to the Essential phone. It actually feels incredibly similar in the hand as far as the weight, the form factor, and everything else goes. If we go around the device here, up top here you have the notch, and you'll be able to see that a little bit better once I get the display on. But up here you have your sensors, you have your front-facing selfie camera, which for the first time in LG's history has been boosted up to an 8-megapixel sensor, and up here you have the earpiece. And I will actually be right back. I gotta pause this video because my cat just ran off with the screen protector on the device. Alright guys, I apologize for that. Had to keep my cat from eating something she wasn't supposed to. So next up on the left side here, you have the volume rocker right here. And then underneath it you have the Google Assistant button, which I'll go into a little bit more detail on what that does. On this side you have the lock button. And this is one of my small gripes about this phone, but I honestly wish that this was the Google Assistant button rather than next to the volume rocker on this side. And then I wish they had kept the power key underneath the fingerprint reader. I thought that was a really cool feature about previous LG flagships. Let's see here. Not much going up on the top here. You just have a little microphone and your SD and SIM card slot. On the bottom you have your boombox speaker grill, you have the micro SD card slot, and thankfully a headphone jack, which we will go into greater depth with that as well. On the back of the phone you have the dual 16 megapixel setup, one of which is a wide angle lens, the other one is a narrow field portrait lens. And then here you have your laser sense guidance for the camera stabilization, and you have the flash. So let's go ahead and power this bad boy on real quick. Like I said, I've already been using this device for about a week now, so I have a pretty good sense of what the phone is all about. It's even gotten a software update, which alleviated some of the gripes I had about the camera, which I'll go over as well. As you can see, the boot up on this device is really, really fast. It has the Snapdragon 845 processor inside of it. So far, everything I've thrown at this phone, it's handled like a champ. I haven't had any crashed apps. I haven't really had any stutters. And so far the performance has been good, but it's more the suite of features that LG packs into this device that have not really ruined the phone for me, but diluted the experience, so to speak. So on the front screen here, as you see, you do have an always-on display. However, this isn't an AMOLED display, so you do see the edge of the screen a lot more once the display is dark in a situation like this one where you have the always-on display. The always-on display is customizable. They kind of took a page out of Samsung's book, and you can put all kind of cool graphics, different types of clocks and such on here. It shows you... Whoops. Sorry about that. It shows you the time, the date, any notifications you might have from the phone, and your battery capacity. And then what's really cool is on the front display here, once it comes up, you get these little arrows on the sides, and you can actually swipe through different features. They only have 2 of them at the moment, but they are kind of useful. You can quickly pull up the camera, take a note. You can quickly connect to Wi-Fi, set your phone to vibrate, turn your Bluetooth on and off, and turn your flashlight on and off, which I think that is super useful from the lock screen. And then the second one you have is your music control, which I just have Google Play Music connected to it, and it just gives you some navigation buttons for your music there. You do still have the tap on and tap off feature on this display, so that's honestly really convenient considering you don't have a fingerprint reader on the front to unlock the device quickly. And then the fingerprint reader on the back is okay. So from a locked position, hit the button, and it unlocks. Since I just restarted the device, I will put in my unlock code here, and I'll show you that again. So finger on the reader, and it unlocks. It is a little bit slower than other devices on the market as far as the fingerprint reader goes, I will admit that much. The fingerprint reader lags behind the likes of my Google Pixel 2, for instance. It also is it's a little iffy on its consistency. So sometimes it'll bring the screen right up. Other times it'll give you kind of a dark blue screen for a second at most, and then it'll bring up the home screen. But the performance of the fingerprint reader could be better. And one thing that I'm kind of upset about is there aren't any fingerprint reader gestures. So if you want to swipe down your notification pane, if you want to swipe through menus and such, you cannot do that like you can on the Google Pixel on Huawei devices, and even the OnePlus 6 that just recently came out. And actually, also worth mentioning, if you guys want me to do a review of the OnePlus 6, give me a shout out, give me some likes, let me know if you guys are interested in that. I would love to get the OnePlus 6 myself and give it a shot, so if you guys are interested, definitely let me know. Next up here, so as you can see on camera, the display itself is very bright, so I'm going to go ahead and bring down the brightness a little bit so you guys can see the display a little bit better. One thing worth noting is LG has definitely toned down their software quite a bit. It doesn't come with as much clutter on the display. It only comes with really 2 folders worth of apps, whereas back when even the LG G6 came out, this phone came with, I think, like 35 or 36 pre-installed apps, which is absolutely insane, and that's before you take into account the Google apps that usually come on Android phones. But otherwise, it's a very clean experience. You have your regular on-screen navigation buttons here. You have your normal suite of apps up front here. Very clean homepage, and that's how I like to keep it. I don't like to clutter my homepage with anything. Just show off the display for what it is when I open the screen. So I think that's really nice. And otherwise, as you can see, when the screen is on, you do have the notch up here, and I will speak on the details of that a little bit more here in a second. But honestly, the notch is probably the least worrisome thing in this phone as far as that goes. The notch just kind of disappears. It melts into the display. You really, really don't notice it because the way that LG handles the notch is actually very, very smart. There are plenty of features in the software here that, when you pull up a YouTube video and you go full screen and you pinch to zoom in, you get a blacked out bar up at the top that kind of reduces the effects of the notch. When you're playing games, again, the notch just disappears. You get a black bar across here. So the notch, again, not an issue for me. What is an issue for me is the chin. That's like one thing that pisses me off about new Android phones that have the notch is the chin on here. Like, I get you're trying to get the best of the screen real estate, but it's not doing it for me. I really hope that OEMs find a way to do away with the bottom bezel like the iPhone X has. Next up on the screen, one of my gripes with having the notch here is the way that notifications come in, because once this little section here fills up with your little notification blurbs, you start getting just a dot that tells you that there's more of them there, and then you don't have a choice but to pull down your notification pane, which is pretty interesting. And then over here, once you have your Wi-Fi, your GPS, and all of that stuff, the way that the notch forces this little area to multitask, you'll see, whenever you have like Maps, Google Maps up, that little area will actually disappear. And I can actually probably show you what I mean here. So if you open up Google Maps and the phone has to use GPS, as you can see there, the signal disappeared, the battery disappeared, and it just showed you that the phone was in fact using its GPS rather than just having a constantly having an icon there for that purpose. Otherwise, I kind of want to quickly go over the features, and if you guys want a more in-depth review, I'd be more than happy to do like a 30-minute ordeal of me talking about like everything on this phone. So I've talked about the display. The display is really, really good. It gets incredibly bright.